What's up, guys? Welcome to A Reseller's Life. My name is Chris. Thank you so much for joining me. In this episode, I'm going to go over the top 10 things to sell right now. Also, I had $21,000 in sales last month. I just want to go over the breakdown in my public store. If you want to look for it, it's Daily Refinement on eBay, Poshmark, or Mercari. That's the username if you want to look at what I am selling in my public stores. And I'm just going to go over what I'm focusing more on right now, and then also a few thoughts about what is going on. So number one, electronics are going to sell really well, especially anything related to telecom. So if you're doing any meetings, headphones, microphones, webcams, computer stuff, all selling like crazy right now. Secondly, jewelry. And the reason why I say jewelry is a lot of stuff is on sale right now. You can buy stuff because people are liquidating, because right now there's a huge amount of job displacement. So I'm thinking 10 to 30 million people may lose their jobs over the next few months. So that means 10 to 30 million new e-commerce sellers. Most of them will be consumer. And what I mean is, it's just people selling their stuff, not people who are going to become resellers for a living. Maybe some of them, but everyone's going to be liquidating stuff. And jewelry is valuable, has inherent value. And I want to talk about the fact that most of this stuff you can sell at a pawn shop. And that's actually the reason why I'm making this video, because you recognize that the reason pawn shops buy this stuff is because it has a fast transfer into cash. So the actual cash value is called an ACV in some industries. What can it be sold for right now into cash? Now, items like clothing and shoes typically have a low cash value unless they are new or unless they are collectible. So just a generic pair of, let's say, Zara sneakers used, it doesn't have a very high cash value. If someone was going to offer you cash right now to take it off your hands, it would definitely be less than $10. But if you're looking at jewelry or watches, which is another category, people are going to pay sometimes thousands of dollars for that item, even in a recession. So anything also with, related to currency, gold, paper money, this stuff is highly collectible, has a worldwide audience. This is why pawn shops buy them, because their cash value is very high. You can sometimes even look up their value in a guide. So again, right now, even though my store grew 30% in size, my sales are down 30% in this particular store because it's too heavy in clothing. So I need to adjust right now because I don't see the recession changing anytime soon. I see it kind of getting worse, actually, to be honest, with people being laid off, and companies right now are using this as an example, or I'm sorry, using it as an opportunity to get rid of dead weight. Before they sort of, there's a lot of employment laws saying you can't fire people, but right now, everyone is saying it's fine to get rid of people because you may not have money to pay them. So anyway, I can see a lot of this stuff being sold right away. Look for things that people need to buy: gold, jewelry, necessities, grocery, tools. This stuff's very popular. Also, guns are starting to really increase in popularity. I actually don't understand the rules of selling a gun personally. I don't know how you would do that, but you should definitely look it up, because guns are going to be very important for people to self-arm. If the recession continues to dive, people are going to want to basically avoid any type of military takeover. That's just the reality. So guns are going to be more valuable and selling more crazy right now. Bullets, everything related to guns. They're already popular to begin with, and now they're just going to be even more popular. Video games and video consoles, anything VHS, DVD, those are selling like crazy right now because people are stuck at home. It should be pretty obvious, but again, something that you want to focus on right now: really high cash value. You could sell video games in less than 24 hours if you are looking for cash right away, because they're so desirable, so easy to ship. People love it. So tools, very common. People are doing a lot of DIY projects right now, fixing things on their own. Contractors are considered essential businesses, at least where I am. So the business is booming. People are using this opportunity to remodel, to make a new deck, whatever. It's a time where tools are more valuable. I just got a box of batteries, chargers, etc. If you guys have any ideas on how I should flip those or how I should sort those, let me know. I don't have a station to test tools, but right now that stuff's pretty commonly being flipped on Craigslist because it's also instant cash. People know when they list tools, they're going to sell right away. Musical instruments. Very important because, again, right now, if you want to learn how to play the guitar or piano, it's a great opportunity to do that. People are working from home, which means they have 1 to 2 hours extra time that they're not using on the commute to learn something new. If you're selling drums, amps, microphones, guitars, basses, whatever, it's a fantastic time to do that because people are looking for this stuff and they're stuck at home. Antiques and collectibles is long tail. What I mean by that is it can take sometimes 6 months to 10 years to sell something really rare and collectible, but this is something that people are always going to be in a position to buy if they're those that are not as affected by the situation. So if people have being at home, people with more money have the opportunity to improve their collections, whether it be art, vintage stuff, different collectibles, Americana. Also, the movie Ford versus Ferrari was fantastic, and it reminded me of how epic American manufacturing used to be. And I sort of miss that era. And so anything Americana to me is insane. I love looking at old vintage electronics. And I want to clarify, I love looking at old vintage electronics and Americana, but I understand it's not scalable in a sense that when you are trying to sell that stuff, it takes a lot of knowledge. This is why generally people who are older are much better at this because they actually purchased that stuff back in the day, or their parents had it. They have a larger knowledge base. So it makes sense that they would be able to sell that stuff for more money because they were there. They saw it in the first place. And the thing is, it's hard to train somebody else to sell that. It's easy to train someone to sell something that has a barcode or replenishable. So it's hard to scale when your knowledge is so important to the actual business model. That's why I think you should do it for fun. Do the antiques and collectible part as your retirement store. That's sort of like the daily refinement store that I have. I plan on keeping it the rest of my life because I like it. So any collectibles and antiques can go right in there. Don't worry about having 2, 3, 4 different stores for the purpose of having essentially a garage sale store. That's what my store essentially is. It's a hodgepodge of random things to educate people on what they can sell, and also it's like my unofficial investment account because I'm going to earn way more than the market reselling stuff. So antiques and collectibles is a long game because there's not that many people looking for it. You might have like 200 people looking for a rare painting, and you might have 2 million people looking for video games. So you just look at the difference there. Finally, sporting goods, very obvious. This stuff is very expensive, very valuable. Right now, it's kind of odd because there are no sports games happening. You're not even allowed to congregate. They're like issuing tickets to people who are playing basketball. So again, this is a good time to be buying this stuff. You want to wait until this situation clears. Right now, I am buying a lot of golf equipment in anticipation that it's going to blow up as soon as this ends, right? So right now, some of the stores that I'm following to sell only sports equipment are way down. They're like 60 to 80% down, depending on what category and what equipment they're selling. Personally, for me, golf clubs have completely stopped selling. So it's interesting how the market changes, and constantly I want to remind everybody that this game of reselling is looking for what people want to buy. That is your job. So when you're sorting through an estate sale and looking for things that people might want to buy, that's the essence of reselling, right? And I think sometimes people forget that. They just get things and they get sucked into the listing and business side of it, which of course is very important. But if you forget to focus on what people are trying to buy, you can quickly fill your store with stuff that doesn't sell because you didn't do that part of the research to figure out if people are actually looking for it. There are tools like Snap Seller Tool with Jonathan. Very nice guy, very, very cool tool. You can Google search Snap Seller Tool. It's a Google Chrome app. You can also use Completely. Those are both paid apps. You can use the eBay Solds. You can use WorthPoint to start understanding and researching a specific market. And if you're too lazy to do that, you're in big trouble because you need to have your ear to what consumers are wanting to buy if you want to be successful at reselling. Filling your store with stuff that never sells is a huge waste of time, and it's actually the number one killer of stores is having stuff that doesn't sell. Ties up your capital, your space, and it's difficult. You can see here I'm spending $1,500 a month in rent. That's a lot. So depending on where you live, it's going to significantly be less. I have $316 in subscriptions. People have asked me what kind of software they use. I use, it depends on your specific model. What are you using it for? Are you using it for research? Is it worth it? So for me, in this model, rent on this store, although I use my storage space for other purposes, you can see it's only 7% of my revenue, which I would consider very high. But again, not so significant that it will destroy my business. My margins aren't so low that 7% will harm me. And also you can see I reinvested $4,300 last month into new inventory in different categories. Okay, so not clothing and shoes, although I do think shoes are a necessity, so are clothing to a certain degree. But again, it's not what people are looking to exchange cash for immediately. You know, if you were selling the stuff that people are really looking for at no more than a 10% premium above market, you're also going to feel really good about yourself because you're providing stuff that people really, really want versus just price gouging people. I'm not a big fan of charging 3, 4, 500% MSRP in a time of crisis. I feel morally weird about that because I understand that you are providing a service to people, but it's also, there are millions of products where you don't need to do that. I don't really want to be known as the person that hoards Christmas toys so people can't get the Christmas they're looking for. I also understand that I don't really feel bad for people who want to spend $200 on a Gucci coin purse that's rare that costs 10 cents to make. I don't necessarily feel bad for them, but I'd rather be in the market where you're selling stuff that people need personally. To each their own. And if you guys enjoy this type of content, please like, comment, and subscribe. There's going to be new content a few times a week, and I appreciate you guys supporting my channel. Also check out my reseller field guide in the description below. It's the way that I earn $1,000 a week minimum in my public store, and just personally how I do it. So you can scale this to any size. There is no ceiling in e-commerce. You can go as high as $1 million a day, and the highest reselling stores are in the 7-figure daily range. That's how much money you can make in reselling. You can go from just starting selling stuff around your house to make an extra 500 bucks all the way to $1 million a day. So you can do whatever you want in this business. And again, I encourage you guys to focus on daily refinement, which is the name of my channel. You can only do a few things per day. So just keep focused on that no matter what level you're at, beginner or super level ninja 4000. You still can only do 2 to 5 things a day. Okay, so don't get ahead of yourself. Focus on what you can do today. Make progress daily. Like, comment, subscribe, smash that notification bell, and I'll see you guys next time.